have Sheela Murthy garu with us from Murthy Law Firm. Ma'am, it was very nice meeting you. Yeah. So today we are going to discuss many things that relates to immigration, job market, and regarding international students. So, ma'am, out of 195 countries, most of the Indian students, especially from Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, so they are mainly, very much interested to come to United States to pursue their masters, and this is like an American dream. And usually, in the good old days, soon after bachelor's, they want to get into job. But now, in everyone's mind, their American dream, they want to fulfill their American dream. And now the market is not good. So, what do you say? Is it suggestible, to come to United States to pursue their masters? Is this the right time?
So, of course, the market is not great at this time. A lot of major companies are having mass layoffs. So, if you're spending your life savings, selling your land, agricultural land, and you're doing, taking a loan, a bank loan, you want to make sure that we time it in a way that there is a much higher chance of the child, your daughter or your son, getting a job in the US. Because there are a lot of layoffs, it's ideally not a perfect time to come now to send your child even for a master's degree, because there is no guarantee that the child will be able to get a job right after they graduate. And then what ends up sometimes happening is, because the kids feel sad and bad that the parents have made so many sacrifices, the children will then start working in like a gas station or in a grocery store, Indian grocery store or something, to take cash under the table. Clearly, that is a big, big violation under US law. What happens is, not only are you jeopardizing your entire green card, it's considered a big violation under US immigration law, because it's referred to as unauthorized employment. And unauthorized employment can result in the person not getting H1 visa, cancelling the H1 even if it's approved for the person, not getting the F1 if they try to enter the US. The Customs and Border Protection at the airport can send them back on the next flight and put a 5-year bar called expedited removal. It is extremely risky to do work, under the table, get cash, because some employers will actually put it against your social security numbers. Others, even if it's cash. What we are seeing, CBP, sometimes when people enter the airport, they're asking to look at your phone, your laptop, your iPad, and when they look at it, they see some message, oh, I'm coming tomorrow evening to this, or I'm coming to work from 5 to 8 tomorrow. Then they are using that, saying you're working illegally, we are going to send you back, and we are going to put 212A6C fraud, and that can become like lifetime bar.
So, for many of the people, there is a question that, is this legal to check our mobiles? Is this legal to check our documents and all, WhatsApp messages and all by Custom Border Protection team?
Yes. So, the US government, it's called the Department of Homeland Security, and the CBP, or the Customs and Border Protection, is a division. It's one of the 22 federal agencies reporting directly to the DHS, right? The CBP has tremendous powers for any person who is entering the United States. In fact, till there was a recent case, not only students, H1B, L1, green card holders and citizens were subject. Now, under the latest law, only US citizens are not subject to search of their personal phone and their personal, but even lawful permanent residents can be, things can be searched. Again, before it used to be 100-mile limit, where they can, 100 miles from the US border, they can confiscate and demand to see your laptop, your phone, your thing. Some people are giving idea, can we just delete everything or bring new phone? Yes, of course you can bring. There is no law that you have to keep all your data with you. But the Customs and Border Protection, the CBP officer can say, why did you delete? Were you hiding something? No, I just bought a new phone, or my lawyer said they are opening it and they may use it against me, right? We talked about that in the discussion we just had.
Okay. So, ma'am, For the people who have a very good financial strength, for them that is fine. But for the people who are coming on unsecured loans or education loans and who don't want to return back soon after their masters, so for them, you suggest this is not the right time to pursue their masters.
Well, if you are literally sacrificing and putting your lifetime savings with the idea that my child or I will get this fantastic job, 6-figure job, 60, 80, 100, 200,000, whatever, right? It may not be the ideal time for that. Now, I can't tell you 6 months from now or 1 year from now or 2 years from now, economy may change because US, the economy always goes up and down, up and down. So things may change, and when things become better, you may want to invest in that. But if you're going to jeopardize and waste your whole life savings and then you don't get a job and then you do this work, unauthorized employment, you are jeopardizing your future, your life, your immigration, your green card, even you're subject to deportation because they can go back. Even if you became a green card holder, they find out that you worked illegally and you did not mention that, they can actually take away your green card within the first 5 years of giving it. So we tell people always, right, best never to break the law because US, the laws are very, very strict. Second, don't get tempted to do something because in the end, you will suffer and lose more money and everything that you have worked your whole life, all your savings are gone and now you have a lifetime bar to enter US.
Right.
So you have totally jeopardized your life. So then people come and say, can I go to Australia, New Zealand? Can I go to Germany, England? Yes, as long as it is not a criminal violation, you can go to other countries. But why do you want to jeopardize everything if America is the country you want to come? Sometimes having few years of experience in India or some other country will actually make your resume much stronger.
Yes.
And when it is much stronger, you will get much better jobs with even higher salary in the United States. So don't allow short-term victory to take precedence over your long-term happiness and your long-term goals in life.
Yeah. So, ma'am, at this point of time, the percentage of people that are returning soon after their masters were lesser than the percentage of the people who stayed in US for 20 years, 25 years, and now that trend has started. And a lot of people who stayed for 20, 15 years, now they are moving and they are settling in India. So why this trend has been started?
So a lot of people return back because there's a variety of reasons. Usually the parents are growing old. They feel we have made some money, we can now go back. India has a lot more opportunities in the tech sector and other sectors. The Indian economy is, the GDP, the gross domestic product in India is increasing, in fact, faster than most countries, including the United States. And people want sometimes their children to grow up in that culture. They are afraid of bad influences sometimes from the West. So whatever the reasons, people, these are mostly the common reasons when I talk at Murthy.com, Murthy Law Firm with our clients. Why are you going back? They say, my parents are growing old, we want to spend time, we want our children to grow up in that culture. India has a lot more opportunities. They feel that they can do startups in India, they can invest in India. So they feel that, okay, if I want to go back, I'll go back. And many of them open back office processing centers also in India.
While coming to the people who are coming for masters soon after their graduation without having any job experience in India. So now, what's happening in US market is for all the people who are just done with the masters, who don't have any IT experience, what's happening is there is no opportunity, something called a fresh hire roles or a grad roles at the current market. That is one thing, which means the entry level role. And then these days, if we message someone in LinkedIn, there is unanswered LinkedIn messages, unanswered cold emails, unanswered recruiter calls and all. And then there are no placements or career fairs or networking sessions happening now. So is this going to be, if there is no experience at all, is this right, not even now, even soon after 5 years or 10 years, is it suggestible to come to United States for a job without having any experience in their home country? For any international student, not only for Indians.
Got it, yeah. For most international students, the US Department of Labor is very strict. because in order to get, especially if you're trying for employment-based second preference EB2, you have to show 5 years of work experience after your bachelor's degree to be qualified and eligible for EB2. Otherwise, EB3, getting the US green card can take 10, 20, 30 years plus for people born in India. So what the best thing to do is finish your bachelor's degree, work 4 or 5 years in India. That makes you very marketable and very attractive because you have certain skills that are not just book knowledge, because that thousands of graduates are graduating. You want to have practical knowledge that the employer or the company can truly benefit from. That's the purpose.
Right, yeah. So, ma'am, even these days, most of the students who graduated from Ivy League universities, who graduated from very good universities, decent universities, the percentage of people that are going to, into Fortune 500 companies were less than 10%. So, even the people who are very extremely elite, extremely hardworking also, they are not doing well. So, what do you say on this?
Well, I mean, I think if the employer is got a couple of openings for fresh grads, they may be more tempted to go to somebody who has graduated from MIT or Harvard or Stanford and one of the Ivy League schools. But again, if you have zero experience, you are still not very attractive, and ultimately getting the green card is still very, very tough because the US Department of Labor requires a couple years of experience, because otherwise Department of Labor says in this market we will not approve the labor certification for the student to get the green card. So if you say fresh graduate, no experience required for green card, because that is how most of these kids have started, then you'll never get a green card, because the employer cannot sponsor the green card unless the employee gets many years of work experience with you, and then the new job for which you filed the green card is at least 50% different than the job they did before. Then they can do the sponsorship and use the experience with the employer. But it's a chicken or egg syndrome, because you will not get that first job because you don't have the required experience.
So, ma'am, recently I have seen a video. A guy who studied in IIT. He done his bachelor's from IIT and he done his master's from an Ivy League university. And he walking around the Bay Area IT park and distributing his resume like a Domino's or a McDonald's flyers. Distributing his resumes like a food flyers. So how should we see, after having such a hard work from very decent universities and without jobs?
Well, it's very sad, right? Because when you're desperate, they're desperate. They don't want to go back. They feel ashamed or embarrassed. How can I go back? I will disappoint my parents, my family. So even if it means being a pizza delivery person or doing some work, flipping pizzas, I prefer to do that rather than going back. Why should we put these children through that type of stress? We should not come to that point. They are brilliant, smart people. They have options all over the world. Let them take advantage of it. Let them gain the experience. Let them become very attractive to the US employers. And then they won't have to be distributing, making some $10, $15, $20 an hour when they can make 10 times or 5 times that amount in few years if they have the correct experience.
Ma'am, even the people who are in India now and who are just yet to graduate or who are graduated, if they ask their seniors or someone who are staying here, their relatives and all, is it the right time to come to United States? Which state do I need to come? Which university do I need to come? If the people over here insisting them this is not the right time, they are not in a situation to take it positively and stay back in India. They are in a situation like, you guys are enjoying there, you guys are happily settled over there. Even I have one of my senior who is unfit for nothing, but he is in a good position now. He is in some Fortune 500 company working as a developer, something. But that time is different and this time is different, but they are not in an understanding of that. So what do you suggest for that kind of students or parents?
As I always tell people, anybody can give advice to somebody, but unless your mind and your heart is ready and willing and open for that advice, we will not listen to another person. So if you want your children to listen to your advice, if you want to help another human being, I was telling the other day, right? If water falls, we can pick it up only with a nice, wet, moist cotton type of cloth. If you use like a plastic sheet, the water will never absorb.
Right.
So, what advice can I give somebody who doesn't want the advice? It's impossible to give any advice to somebody, because the family members, the child, the young person who wants to come to America, please come. This country, America, is a nation of immigrants. We want the best people from around the world. We need you. We need your talent. India has a lot of brilliant people. All we are saying is, today, right now, in this economy, if you invest your life savings and take the risk and come, and you don't find a job, you don't want to go back feeling that I wasted my family money in a very bad time. So be strategic, be smart. Please come. We want you to come. We need you to come. But today is not the right time, because it will most likely, unless the economy turns around, it will most likely result in not finding a job and becoming desperate and taking something that is not worth taking.
Right. Even these days, the people who don't have jobs, they are, doing a lot of recommendations to their relatives. Even political recommendations are happening these days. Which is very, I don't have words to say for that.
It's very sad, very, very sad.
Yeah.
So if I can conclude, please, as parents, as people who care for your child, or if you're the individual, yes, you have a dream to come to America. America will need you and needs the best global talent from around the world. But don't come at a really bad time. You've heard the saying, strike while the iron is hot. We should wait till the correct time when the iron's hot. When you will be hot, you will be in demand, you should come here and take advantage of it. In the meanwhile, get some experience, make yourself extremely attractive to a US employer, come at the right time, make yourself proud, make your family proud, and then all the investment of that additional education or that risk that you're taking, leaving your family, your friends, your home, your hearth, to come to this new foreign country will be well worth it.
Ma'am, everyone was worried Donald Trump is in the government. What are all the new H-1B rules that are going to come? How we can able to sustain here and all. So, what do you give your advice to the people who are on H-1Bs and who are worried about their H-1B visas and all?
So, we have always said this is Trump version 2.0. He was there last time. A lot of people got H-1 denials, extension denials, but the good news is Congress passes laws, not the executive branch. In the US, you have a balance of powers. You have the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judiciary. All of them are supposed to keep each other in check.
Right.
So power is not vested in one particular organization. And so it is true that the executive branch or the administration can interpret the laws, but they cannot change the law and they cannot pass the law. Now you do have a Republican majority in the houses and you have the executive branch. So now we are seeing that the US courts are clamping down and holding the administration and the legislature in check by saying that what you're doing is a violation of the law. So the good news is, when mistakes happen, we can sue, but suing in America or anywhere in the world, but especially in America, can be very time intensive, can cost a lot of money. So ideally, you don't want to sue. But unlike many other countries, in America, we are able to sue the government. That's what's so great about this country and this constitution, that if somebody breaks the law, whether it is the president or any particular organization, you can sue. If you don't win, you can file an appeal and another appeal. You can keep on doing that, but it costs time and it costs money, and nobody has an infinite amount, especially when you're coming from India and you're converting US rupee to US dollar, the Indian rupee to the US dollar. So you want to be very careful that you are being very strategic about decisions you make. Everything in life goes up and down, up and down. So yes, I think we have to be prepared for a tough 4 years, but if you're following the laws and you're following the rules and you've done everything right, hopefully it won't be an issue.
Yeah. So, ma'am, now there are a lot of employees due to the current market is not doing well. They're switching from employer to employer without intimation and all. and this employee-employer relationship is, a lot of disturbance were happening, and at some point of time he needs some letter or some experience certificate or something when he is filing his green card and all. So what do you suggest all people who are on their H1Bs doing employee jumping and all?
So, I mean, one of the new things under the H1B modernization rule, which became effective from January 17th, 2025, just less than a month ago, about a month ago, is that you are no longer required to have an employer-employee relationship. People are allowed to do their own company, start and self-sponsor and do it, as long as we can show the distinction between the employer and the employee and the work, and all of those kinds of other rules have been satisfied. But in general, you don't want to keep shifting every few months from one employer to the other, because it makes it look like you are fired, you're not doing your job. It doesn't show that you have stability. So it's good to build up your resume, stay 2, 3, 4 years, build a solid resume, contribute to your employer, learn well, and do it. So I would recommend that in general, it is best for young graduates to stay in a job and not keep jumping. Now, sometimes that can help to jump to get a much better salary, but for green card processing, to get the perm and the labor and the I-140 petition approval, because you need that priority date if you were born in India, that process can take 2, 3, 4 years. So it's very wise to stay with the employer, build your credentials, build your knowledge, and then move on.
Yeah. So, ma'am, one more thing, there are a lot of students, in this process of inflation, recession, on this fake marriages, they are spending some $20,000-$30,000 and, getting into fake marriages for their, visa stability and all.
So, US law is very strict under the Immigration Marriage Fraud Act. It is a serious violation of the law to enter into a fraudulent or fake marriage. Because the penalty can actually be 500,000 US dollars, right? Which is about 4 crore rupees, plus 5 years in jail. So I'm telling people, please don't do it. It is not worth it. Not getting green card is bad, but not getting a green card and sitting in a US prison is 100 times worse. So please don't take shortcuts. We all know that success is a slow, gradual process. We have to work hard. We have to be focused. We have to do things right. America is a nation of laws. You have to follow the laws. If you don't follow the laws, the risk is extremely high that you can mess up everything that you have worked your entire life for. So please do not take shortcuts in life. It is not worth it.
Ma'am, so regarding the ICE rights, initial weeks, lot of students were afraid of ICE rights, and now they are in a mood, they are in a thought of the ICE rights are very strict on the people who have the criminal history and all. And for the remaining people, though we are on our F1, though we are on our H1s, if we get caught, if we don't have any criminal record, that should be fine. They don't throw us out. People are coming into this kind of thought. So what do you suggest for the people who are staying here and who should be safe without any ICE raids and all?
Well, if you're in status, you're studying full-time on an F1 student or on H1B, you're working for that employer, or if you have a concurrent H1 for another, hopefully one part-time or 2 part-time jobs, or 1 full-time, maybe a part-time job. You cannot be working with 3 employers. That looks unethical and fraudulent. You should follow the rules. But if you think that I can break the laws and I can just stay back here if I'm not committing a crime, that is wrong, because the government can still deport you or can deport you from the United States, can send you back out of the country. And many times when they go into some apartment thinking it's a criminal violation, but then they realize that this person is sharing an apartment with somebody else, everybody, it's called incidental damage or ancillary. They are catching all those people and deporting them or taking them into prison. And now, as you have heard recently, the US federal government is talking about Guantanamo Bay, which was meant for the worst criminals in the United States. And many of them are being sent for immigration law violations. So please, please, don't mess up your entire career and your life, your peace of mind, your family, everything for chasing a dream that is elusive. Please come. We want you to come, but come at the right time. Pursue it at the appropriate time so that your dreams can become a reality and you can truly, truly enjoy the American dream. God bless you. God bless your family, and only good things may happen for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you.